So, in the spirit of keeping you in a good mood, let's talk about The Warrior in 1998. What the f*** were you... No, I'm kidding. So, it was a 17-minute diatribe that he does. But when he comes... Because there is the story that people think, and the way this relates to Hogan, is that Hogan wanted his win back from WrestleMania 6, so he asks you to hire The Warrior.
That's not true.
But so Warrior, I think, had negotiated with Vince McMahon again in 1997. It never happened. I think a leaked agreement proposal is on the internet and stuff. But talk about your perspective, August of 1998, bringing him in, and just what happened?
So you didn't like it?
I just don't understand it. I've watched that promo a few times to try and see. Maybe you need to be on something to understand it.
No, I've tried. It doesn't work. You could go down the list alphabetically. I don't think there's anything you can. But so let me just start out with what was I thinking. And again, you have to at least try for the moment to put yourself in my shoes. Number one, I was learning on the job. I had never been in a creative position. I had been in sales, syndication, sponsorship development, production. I was a talent. I had been involved in a lot of things in the wrestling business, but being involved in creative was not one of them up until about 1995, 96. And even then, when I got involved in creative, I was kind of hesitant because I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. I was learning. I don't know how to do this shit. I'm in the room. I'm going to listen to everybody else that knows how to do it and try to figure it out. It's kind of the role that I put myself in. I put people in positions based on them having more experience than me. Dusty, Ric Flair, Kevin Sullivan. But by this time, I was getting a little bit more comfortable, and I was taking a more active role in making creative decisions. Keep in mind, when I brought Hulk Hogan in, the Dave Meltzers of the world, and people like him, and the people that read all this shit, oh, Hulk Hogan's old, he's washed up, the steroid trial, that'll never work, it's bullshit. WCW is going to blow up. They're going to go bankrupt. Blah 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 blah. Well, Hulk Hogan comes along, and about 12 months later, we're beating the out of WWE. Huh. All right. And then Randy Savage is available. Same thing. Oh, Randy Savage is washed up. He's too old. It's the geriatric society in WCW. It's never going to work. Oh my God, we need younger talent, not older talent. Randy Savage goes through the roof. So I'm thinking, all of the criticism that I read and the opinions that I hear from people inside WCW who felt that way as well, who did have experience, tended to be pretty wrong. So I thought, I'm going to keep kind of going with my gut instead of listening to people around me as much as I have been. Then Warrior comes available. He reaches out to me, I think, I don't know how it happened. I was living in Atlanta. My wife and I were living in Atlanta and our kids at the time. And I flew out to Phoenix, and I met Jim Hellwig.
I think he was legally Warrior by that point.
Yes. I still called him Jim. But I met him at a really nice resort hotel in Scottsdale. Beautiful time of year. We sat outside. And I actually really found him to be fascinating. We had like a 3-hour dinner, and I listened, and he talked. And quirky, eccentric, like he was out there, but he was pretty interesting. And I have this thing, I didn't make it up, but I repeat it and make it sound like I did. You can slow a fast horse down, but it's really hard to speed a slow horse up, right? I never minded working with fast horses. Yeah, they're crazy, they're hard to deal with, their personalities are big, they're eccentric, they're emotional. I surrounded myself with people like that. From Ric Flair to Roddy Piper to Hulk Hogan to Randy Savage to Kevin Nash. I was surrounded by psychopaths most of the time. But they were really good at what they did. And I kept reminding myself that, yeah, they're a pain in the ass. I wouldn't want to hang out with them necessarily. They're driving me crazy. They're making me drink more than I should. But they're really good at what they do. So when I went and had dinner with Warrior, he fell into that category. And I thought, you know what? Based on the success I've had with Randy, the success I've had with Hulk, obviously, I got to give it a shot. I got to see. It wasn't Hulk wanting to get his win back. That's like Dave Meltzer nonsense. It was more about, okay, there's this character by the name of the Ultimate Warrior that the audience worldwide was very, very familiar with and did great business. And it's been some time, and now we can perhaps recreate that magic just like we did with Hulk, just like we did with Randy. Why not try it? So that's why I pulled the trigger, so to speak, on Warrior. Now let's talk about that 17-minute promo. It was supposed to be 5 minutes because we had commercials. You have this thing with TV, live TV. It's called commercial breaks. It's how you pay for everything. So we laid this promo out backstage. Oh, I love you. We laid Warrior's promo out backstage. We walked through it because we didn't work off scripts, right? We just bullet points. We had a basic idea of what we were going to do, and we had a pretty good idea of how long that should take. And that's the one thing back at that point in time. Guys like Randy and Roddy, Roddy could go. Ooh, he could go off too. But everybody, if they were motivated, could hit their times pretty close. You just had a clock inside of your head. If somebody said to me, Eric, you got 3 minutes, I want you to go out and, sell me that glass of beer, and you got 3 minutes to do it, I'll do it in 3 minutes. Maybe 2:58, maybe 3:05, but I'm going to come within seconds of hitting my time, just because I got really used to having that clock in my head. And a lot of people that came up in that era of the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s, you had to develop that skill or you wouldn't reach the top of your game. So anyway, we lay it all out backstage. Everybody's nodding their head like the Warriors go, yeah. and that's kind of what it was, right? Go back and watch the tape. I'm not lying. So we go out, and I'm standing in the ring. It's just like a dream that you've had when you were little, and you still remember that nightmare. But I'm standing out there in the ring, and he's going on and on and on, and none of it makes any sense. It's the wackiest ever. Nuts. 17 minutes, it felt like it had to be 25. You must have seen the edited version, because the live version went on and on. I remember, literally, if you go back and look at it, I'm looking at Hulk, what the can you just knock him out? Can we just shoot an angle right here, right now, throw everything? I mean, it was the most horrible feeling. And our director, his name is Craig Leathers, he's a super guy, very talented director, and always calm and cool. You could never rattle him. No matter what happened, he'd come out of that truck after the show and go, yeah, we got it done. It's pretty good. He came out of that truck, his hair was on fire. One eye bulged out, the other one was still in the socket. It was horrible.
So that was, I think that was like August 17th, 1998, because the PTSD is there from that promo. And then he does the Fall Brawl War Games match. He does the Halloween Havoc match with Hogan and loses, and then he's gone. So how does it? I mean, was it so bad that you were just like, please leave? I will pay you to not come back. Like, what happened? Why was it so short?
I think he blew out a bicep. He was hanging, I think it was Fall Brawl, War Games, and he jumped up on top of the cage, or got up on one of the bars for the cage, and tore out a bicep. And that put him out for like 6 months to a year. Torn bicep isn't something you come back from anytime soon. And because he had the injury, because everything that we tried to do with him obviously didn't work out, it made it easy for me to call an audible and just make a decision, part ways.
But he does that Fall Brawl match. He still works the Hogan match the following month. When he does the match with Hogan, at the end of it, did you feel like, well, at least we got that out of it? Or by the time that happened,
no, that was like, let's just put it into this. No, seriously, and he knew it. We discussed it. That was going to be the end. There was no, hey, let's just get through this match and see what we're going to do. It was like, can we get you through this match? Yes. Okay, then this experiment is over. He knew what was coming.
If only the One Warrior Nation had lived on longer.
Actually, I kind of dug the One Warrior Nation, the ONW, which is a reverse of NWO.
OWN, yeah.
OWN, yeah. One Warrior
And that also
Nation.
had the disciple, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, as a key member after he was kidnapped.
You know, you come off as such a nice guy when people first meet you.
Stay tuned for the Brutus the Barber Beefcake tour. So
Good luck with that, brother.
So before poor guy. Sorry, Brutus.